Right, hello everybody, welcome back to James and Flav for now. We were literally just live with you guys, but the internet where I'm at right now is obviously not up to par, which is really, really annoying. But it's done and dusted. So me and Flav are going to record now, and you'll still get your Jeff and podcast. That's as good as it's going to get. But the huge amount of the wave of patrons that were going to come through after a high quality live stream has now been lost. What a bloody cliffhanger. Although the comments will come back. Right, let's get into this then, Flav, because I did want to talk about Diego Maradona because it is the title of the video at the moment. And the importance of Diego Maradona. The reason I say that is because in a world where you've got to be so perfect right now, when you look at the amount of kind of discourse that kind of gets spoken about all of these top players, who's the best, who's been the best, looking at stats and bits and pieces like that. And I was looking at Maradona's stats. Maradona played from 1976 to 2001 and only played 491 games. So when we look at like the stats of like a Lionel Messi or Ronaldo or all these players, and obviously the different generations, so the media is different as well. But I posted something on Instagram and I got a bit of stick because it wasn't about Diego Maradona, but I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say.
After he passed away, you posted something on Instagram that wasn't related to Diego Maradona. Yeah,
and a lot of people going, have you got no respect? Why aren't you posting about Diego Maradona? Which started the wheels turning on what I should have said.
Oh, well, maybe I do have respect, so maybe I should talk about him. Maybe what are you thinking?
Well, maybe I'll stay out of it. Well, yeah, that was the point. It's like, what am I? I remember him. Who cares if I remember him? So then I started thinking about, if, I kind of explored it in my mind, the idea of I've got nothing to say, but then I started thinking about him and then thinking about what he has brought to football, and then just the duality of him as a personality and how actually he's very, very actually important when it comes to the reasons why we actually love football. It is generally about the artistry, and it's about those players that, the way I described it on the live stream yesterday was the players that do stuff that make you go, how has he done that? And
go on. Sorry.
And when I finished with it all, I was just like, look, Maradona's not perfect, and I don't think you need to get away from that. But actually, I think you need to kind of drive into that, because everyone's trying to be perfect right now, and at the same time, everyone's crippled with anxiety because they're scared of making a slip up or scared of getting something wrong. And what I found quite heartwarming about Diego Maradona when I think about the reaction to his death is, despite having both the angel and the devil, that God-given talent, but also the problems that he had, I think it just highlights that you can be both, and you can make mistakes, and you can still have such a strong legacy with the people that you're around. Because actually, it doesn't matter the points tally of the good things and the bad things that you did in your life. It's the connections that you've had with people. That was the thing that I got to.
Yeah, I get it. Look, you'll remember Lionel Messi and Ronaldo as in the top 5 players of all time, probably. Right, you will do that. But Maradona is remembered in that 5 in spite of the fact of all of the things that he'd done outside of what he did on the pitch. So that, for me, puts him at the very top of the pile. Like Pele, scored huge amounts of goals in a Farmers League. He never left. He was done incredible things at World Cup. So I'm not taking anything away from Pele, because I'm sure he doesn't want me to do that to him, right? But Diego Maradona came to Europe. He won league titles with Napoli when they hadn't done that in the history of their football club, because he was such a great player. And people remember him, and look at the outpouring that there has been since he passed away. That what he did on the football pitch transcends the discretions that he'd undertaken as a human being. And these are discretions that I've undertaken, definitely not to the extent, and I wish to some degree for a couple of years I would have been able to live the kind of life that he has lived. But but he's done those things and very publicly. Like he's snorting cocaine on the pitch, let alone like in your bedroom or in a club or when you're with a couple of birds. It's that isn't what his cocaine use was about. It was about it dominated his life clearly because he couldn't play in a World Cup without being under the influence. We all know that as the fact. We all know that as a case. And in a world where you can't make a step wrong outside of what is currently socially acceptable, and then for him to be remembered in the way that he has been remembered in the last sort of 36 hours, just shows what a great footballer he was. And this is from someone who never saw him play. I never saw him play. I don't know how good he was because I never saw it. Like people who like eulogize over Diego Maradona right now, who can watch him. Like my dad talks about Maradona being the best ever. And this is an Englishman who witnessed as a 15, 16-year-old him, cheat his way to getting past England in I think it was the quarterfinals or semi-finals, whatever it was. And he still says he was one of the greatest. So if he says it and he's seen him play, and I'm saying it and I haven't seen him play, then he must be, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like it dragged me back when I was going down this wormhole of all these amazing clips of him. And there's this clip of him warming up with music on, and it's just like he's sort of dancing, but like with the ball, and you're just kind of confused at how he's doing all of this stuff. It dragged me back to the players that you do remember, and it just, I think. Even myself, when I'm looking at football, I often am looking at it kind of tactically. I think we all are, like a lot more that it's gone down that road, like such a huge amount. But there still are some of those players that it's kind of above practice. Like they're just sort of soaked in genius. And for him, he kind of had that element of it. But what I find really interesting as well is that, and I've been to Argentina, and he is like a deity there. But it's kind of his mindset as much as everything else, which again, I just think it's worth kind of, for me, it's just, I like the sort of broadness of him as a personality, that you feel like you could, I mean, of course, with substances and his history and stuff, you'd have a good night with Maradona, but even just sort of the sort of ability to kind of maybe sit down and chat with him, I feel like there's so much more personality with him than with a lot of these great players. And
yeah, but I also think that, Jim, that he wouldn't want to talk to you. He wouldn't want to talk to me. He wouldn't want to talk to anybody. Oh, no,
well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, because he was constantly crowded. But my point, the point that I got to all the time was it was about personality. Like we've got to retain the ability for players to have personality, because I feel like we've lost that a little bit. Like, who are the personalities right now?
Yeah, but what do? Do you encourage that kind of personality, which was at the extreme of what a footballer should be? His talents gave him the opportunity to behave in the way that he did when he was alive. He was so good that we forgave him for being a bad
multiple discretions. Yeah,
exactly. So like, I get it. Like,
do you know what I think you're struggling with as well, which I get as well? I was thinking about this as well. Is where's the sort of line when someone like this passes away? How do you balance between the idea of just going too far in terms of eulogizing on someone, especially when they've got both sides of it?
As a footballer, you can, but as a person, you have to sort of take a step back and go, would I, in the same situation, have made the same mistakes, if they are mistakes, as Diego Maradona? And for me, personally, yeah, I would have done. The only difference between me and Diego Maradona is that I would have made all the mistakes he made, and I had none of the ability he had. So,
this is like late 80s and things,
Yeah, but I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing that everybody is holding him up as a bastion of football ideology, or the ideal footballer, rather, is the correct way to say it, because he had all of the difficulties. He came out of poverty, massive poverty. He sold. He would collect foil cigarette papers to make ends meet. All of the, if you made a movie out of his film, it would movie out of his life, it would be fantastic. It would be like the Slumdog Millionaire kind of shit, yeah. And that every man can relate to that, and that's the difference between me. Yeah. Yeah, the difference between me and Harry Kane is that. No, sorry. The difference between Harry Kane and Diego Maradona is that Harry Kane is living a life and is doing things that I could never dream of doing. Diego Maradona had all of the talent and then lived the life that I've lived, or to a relatable extent. He was normal. And the same could be said for Ronaldinho, who pretty much gave up on his career at 27, 28, where footballers are supposed to be at the peak of their career. Diego Maradona, apparently, given the stuff that I've listened to over the last 24 hours and read, that he peaked at 22, 23, and then sustained. His talent carried him through. But what could he have been if he would have been as mentally sustainable or mentally appliant as someone like Ronaldo or Messi?
Yeah, it's interesting though you say Ronaldinho as a comparison, because that I thought that's interesting in itself. The idea of like players with that kind of freedom and such an open-mindedness when they play the game. That kind of, there seems like there's a byproduct off the pitch that they can't kind of not behave themselves, but like, they want to have that same kind of enjoyment elsewhere. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting.
If you're striving for that kind of level of reality, playing football at that level can never be replaced. Like if you're a boxer and you've seen it happen so many times. Like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. at the weekend are going to be fighting in an exhibition match. They're not doing that because they believe that they're going to put on an amazing show for people to watch and pay for. They may need the money. They may do. But I believe the sole reason why they're doing it is because they miss everything that gave them the platform to be put up there above everybody else. That's what I genuinely believe. And it's the same for Maradona. Like he missed that. He had that opportunity. He was the top footballer in the world. He was the best footballer in the world. And then, as with all careers, it curtails and then makes a slow decline to just being human and having to exist. So what do you do? Like if you're Maradona, you can't go back and play football again. Like Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. can go back into the ring again, and people will watch it probably. They shouldn't, in my opinion, because it's unethical. But Maradona can never go back to playing Premier League football or Premiership football or
whatever,
any kind of professional football is what I'm saying. So you can't go back to that. So what does he do? You have to nourish yourself in other ways. And unfortunately, the way that he nourished himself was through things that were unhealthy for him, that resulted in him at 60 years old, given the fact that he was a professional athlete, that his heart gave up.
Yeah, I guess there's an element of that, chasing identity. I guess the only thing I would say is different with Maradona is that, a lot of people would say at the peak of his powers at Napoli, that excess had already kicked off. Do you know what I mean? So there's maybe a little bit of difference there.
So he joined at Napoli, didn't he? Where they hadn't won the league ever, and then they won. Was it two league titles in 3 years,
and the UEFA Cup as well? I mean, I don't know. When you talk about the list of those players, like I think that the mix of the charisma as much as the quality is why I keep loving going to watch a team like QPR, where you don't often have a lot of great players, because it is about the Adel Taraps, it is about the Ezes. Now, I'm not comparing them. I'm just stylistically.
No, I understand.
It's those guys. They're crucial to football, and yeah, they have to remain. Like I'm not sure how many there are anymore, because everything is so functional, and so I think it highlighted that for me. So I thought it was worth talking about.
Absolutely.
Should we talk nonsense now for 40 minutes?
Yeah, we do. Can you turn your camera on, Jim?
I can't because.
Oh, because of the new setup.
Because of the streaming. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just imagine your.
Just imagine my little face.
Little face. That's that beautiful.
Well, this could be the future. If we had like an old school. If we had a normal pod, it would be like this without out over the phone, like in the old days.
Remember when we used to work in Ball Street, and
yeah.
I used to we go for beers on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, mainly Friday night.
Oh.
And sometimes I look at you across the pub and thought, what a handsome human being he is.
Go away. Right. Quote of the pod. I've done a serious bit. Quote of the pod. Sammy A says, I only thought... So this, for anyone who doesn't know, these are some of the best quotes from last week's pod. Go and check it out if you missed it. We're talking about Mourinho and Pep. Who is the better manager? I think that was proven, Flav. We can talk about Spurs and they're possible because they got a big game this week as well, which we're chatting about during the derby games. But quotes of the pod. First one, I think this was you, Flav. I only thought about punching the 8-year-old in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That's one of yours.
Yeah, that was an 8-year-old with a Man City shirt on. I didn't do it. I just thought about it.
Important to say that. Ryan Walker, quote of the pod. She clearly wants to pause spread.
Who said that?
I think that was you, bud.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
I think that's for Birds and That, which actually someone's got a new name for Birds and That, which is so bad. I actually think it's quite good. So stick around for that. And Joe, so those are the two main quotes of the pod. In terms of comments of the week, we've got quite a few here. Joe Ball, I just love this exchange. So we basically said to a lot of people, make sure you keep checking in. Because we hadn't done it for a while, and someone had asked, and everyone would just keep checking in, and it was really, really nice. I was pleased that everyone got involved. Some people were going, I've had a bit of a tough week, but I think I'll be all right. I'm okay actually.
There was a lot of checking in. It was really life-affirming.
It was lovely, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. Joe Bull said, I just love this exchange. Just checking in. Left a banana in my bathroom at university before coming home for lockdown. Going back after Christmas. Hopefully it's not too rotten. Love the podcast. Which seems banal, but then someone else just got involved. Josh Brownless. Was it already going brown before leaving? I hope it's okay, mate. Just that little bit of support over his banana. Joe Bull replied saying, it was totally fresh, so it could be okay. I'd already packed and I was wandering around with it. Put it down for some reason in the bathroom. Shut the door and turned the lights off with it still sitting there. I only realised on the train back, whispered, shit, the banana, to myself and got a weird look from a woman sitting opposite me. Just pretended to fall asleep after that. Hopefully the banana is okay. Make sure you let us know if the banana is all right when you do go back. But I don't think it stands a chance, to be honest.
No, it'll be a decrepit little pathetic thing. Just if you're out there and you're watching this and you're enjoying it, and you feel like you need someone out there to know that you're okay, all you need to do is drop a little, just checking in the comments below, because it'll mean the world to us if you do. Just
absolutely.
Let us know how you're doing in the comments below. Just say, just checking in.
Yeah, just popping in for a quick one. Is it all right if I come in? Something like that as well might be nice. It's
not into our homes or anything.
I think you did. You might have also said, make sure you're checking in so we know you're okay, but don't do anything too heavy. You don't want to bring down the mood. It's like, well, careful.
Well, I mean, like, let us know, but just don't let us know.
Okay. Another comment of the week, Samuel Vidler. I thought this pod was dead. Now I'm worried that it never stopped. Can I have a season recap? Flav, fancy it? Fancy having a go? Is there any way with your memory? I don't know if you could do a season recap. What do you think?
Season, give me some parameters in terms of dates.
So
what point? We had a massive pandemic. I don't know if this bloke realised.
Yeah. So we did stop the pod, but we brought it back at the start of the season. There were some Man United, the Piranhas were out for Lampard, then Solskjaer, and then we needed to create some Liverpool Cracks, which we've done. Some people have played, but they'll play. And then we've brought back Birds and That, and now we've got some Man Glue, which sounds bad, but it actually just means that we're getting behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Liverpool have cracked due to pressure of us and this podcast, and that's probably about it. We thought Arteta was good. We're now not sure if he's good. We thought Spurs were bad, and now we think they might be good. And we thought Chelsea had too many players, and it turns out they've got just the right amount. So that's
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Well done.
We've tucked into some badges weirdly, and we also had. We had a periodic table of football clubs, but don't worry, that bit's over now.
Not worth mentioning, really.
Not really.
Can you share your screen with me, Jim? Just in case
Yes, I can.
just in case we go to football badges or something like that, and I just don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay, there it is.
There we go.
Tell you what.
It's 9.5. Let us know in the comments below. Is it £9.5? Is it 9.5? 8? No, is it 9 and 8,000? Is it? No, it's £9,500. Forget it. Go.
Jay Tomlin's quote of the pod. Keep checking in, and if you're down, let us know, but don't bring the mood down too much. That was what I meant.
Well, yeah, because we're doing a podcast. Like, we get it. Like, people are sad out there, and we want you to be inclusive. We want to give you light relief. If you're coming near going like, "Oh fuck, my dad's dead," that's not going to work, is it? It's not going to help us to keep this positive conversation going about football. If we have to talk about football, that isn't going to help.
Yeah. I mean, of course, this week's podcast is a bit of an anomaly because we had to speak about death for the first 15 minutes.
I felt like we did it good, though.
Yeah, I
felt we did good.
Anthony O'Malley, never commented before, but listened for years, just checking in. Love you, boy. It's got 10 likes. Really like that. Denza DOD. This is interesting. Just checking in, lads. Notice there's been no one policing the comments with a less of that for a while now.
Right, well, what is that about, though? What is that about, Jim?
So we had people checking in. So the OGs back in the day, we had people checking in, but then there was a little bit of negativity. We couldn't have that, and so we wanted the comment section to police themselves. I think we had
it's the only positive place on the internet, the only place where you can't be horrible.
Exactly, unless it's.
So we use the community to police the community, and the only way you had to do that is if someone said something mean. You don't acknowledge it. No detail about what they've said. You just say less of that. And it worked.
It did work.
Really worked.
It really did. So Denzel wants to get back involved with that. So he said, less of that for a while now, and we can't have people having a go at each other in the comments left, right, and centre. So I'm putting myself forward for the role. Buckle up, boys. Sheriff Denza is in town from next week on. There's going to be changes around these parts. Everyone is going to get along just fine.
Wonderful. Love it.
So keep an eye out for Denza, guys, if you're in the comments this week. Ahmed Hosni, FYI. Thought this was interesting. This Friday, tomorrow, 27th, is billed the final of the century in the Eastern world. The African Champions League final between two enormous rivals, Zamalek, my club, and
of Egypt. Zamalek of Egypt.
Correct. Both of Egypt, I think. Both of the most successful clubs in Egypt, Africa, and the Middle East, and it's by far the biggest derby in the region. I'm a complete nervous wreck.
Can I just stop you there?
Okay.
Mido, Tottenham Hotspur.
I knew it was Mido. I was like, how does he know this? It's got to be Mido.
Has played for both clubs, and I think he managed Zamalek as well.
Good knowledge there, Flav.
Just carry on. I'll just give you. Drop these little nuggets in every time.
Gorgeous.
You just carry on.
Thanks. I'm a complete nervous wreck. To put it in Flav perspective, see, he didn't think he didn't back you. He didn't think you had the knowledge on Egyptian football. Shame on you, Ahmed.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said, to put it in a Flav perspective, imagine Spurs versus Arsenal in a Champions League final. Then imagine Arsenal just won 15 out of the last 16 league titles and countless Champions League trophies thrown in there. That's what my team has to contend with. If we lose, it would definitely be the worst football feeling I've ever had in my life. Seriously stressing about this game, not looking forward to the upcoming week. So I think, that's it. So Zamalek,
That's helped.
If you want to go with the underdog, or certainly Flav, you need to be going with Zamalek. That's the Spurs of Egyptian football.
Right. So when's this game happening?
Tomorrow.
I'm going to put this in my to-do list. I'm literally doing this right now. Add task. Find out score of Zamalek. I can spell it because do you know what? I interviewed Mido once in a wonderful, let's say wonderful, a really expensive hotel in Knightsbridge, and Mido's phone battery was running out, and I had one of those battery bank things, and I said, "Don't worry, Mido. Thanks for all the goals at Spurs. Not that many. You can use mine." And I left without it, and he left it. He sent me a text later saying, "I've left your battery bar or whatever the fuck it's called at the reception," knowing full well I'd never go back for it because it's just a fucking thing. It cost 20 quid.
Well, I mean, he didn't realise how much cash you had.
That's true. I'm more wedged than I'm not. It's ridiculous. Zamalek and
Ali, Ahly. A couple of calm takes from last week, Flav. Henry, I like to call him. The Pepe flop shout truly shows how fickle and quick to jump on the bandwagon football fans are in the modern day. As a base rule, can we give a player at least 2 seasons before we label them as a flop from now on? No? Okay? I thought so. No problem.
What do you think of that, Jake?
Well, that's it. I mean, I thought that was the question is how long do you give a player before they are officially a flop? Because Pepe is, he's a season and a couple of months, and it has been a flop thus far.
I would say it's a difficult one. It's a very nuanced conversation here, Jim. And I'm glad that your man, what's his name, Josh?
Henry.
Glad that Henry's brought this up, because if you look at, the Spurs, Soldado and Janssen were 2 of the biggest flops I've ever seen. And they played football just a little bit longer than Pepe has lasted at Arsenal. But I think the difference is what they do and the flashes of moments, and whether or not you can look at those flashes of moments and think he's got something. Whereas Soldado and Janssen definitely didn't have anything. Janssen was literally one of the worst players I've ever seen play for Tottenham. And I'd line him up with him, Tramezzani, and bloke we bought from PSV, who was garbage. So I wouldn't call Pepe, like, taking my Spurs hat off, I wouldn't call Pepe a flop yet, because there's clearly a really good player in there. The headbutt has no relation to what he can do on the pitch. It has nothing. It's just a man who lost his head, or found his head. And
found someone else's
in that moment. But what he can do on the pitch, I feel like there's something there. But for what's happening here with you, mate, is you're a fan, and you're on Twitter, and you're taking some substance from fans of other football clubs and thinking that's reality.
Block it out.
What you need to do is grow a bigger pair of bollocks, mate, and stop worrying about what other people think about your players. Is he good enough by your own eyes? If he is, then don't worry about convincing fucking what would you call them? Like Pele? No.
Football trolls, basically. Football Twitter.
No. What would you call them? Like Kane Elite, or what all these fucking weirdos use?
Trequartistas now.
Yeah,
double pivot. At double pivot.
Heung-min Son Elite.
Yeah.
What do these freaks do? Right? Don't worry about them.
Faceless freaks. Yeah.
Just concentrate on your own players. Don't. This isn't a calm take. You're furious. It's clear.
Okay, yeah, it does feel a little bit. The one thing I'd like with the question though, just to answer the question, I generally actually think, I know this is probably harsh, you've probably got, in terms of 90 minutes, players have probably got about 12 games. But every season you get like a mini reset for each pre-season, because you go, now he's been here a year, now he's got a chance, and also you get extra games, and in fact possibly an extra season if you're a player from South America, because they need time to settle, apparently. Indeed.
Well, can I ask you a question, Jim?
Yeah.
If Eriksen had a wonderful career at Tottenham, right? I know he's going through some struggles at the moment. If Eriksen had a wonderful career at Tottenham, if he had tattoos up to his shoulders or up to his neck, up to his jawline, and a mad Mohican haircut, would he be worth £10 million more than what we sold him for?
I think this is a real thing, and I was pleased. I heard this on a quite sophisticated podcast about a couple of months ago, that people are actually very shallow. I actually think when we were looking at different, say, football managers, for example, this is the example that was used here. It's like Arteta is what you want your manager to look like. And so that will help him in terms of people's ideas of him. The opposite goes for someone like Southgate. I think Southgate is not to have a go at Gareth, but his name's Gareth, not the sexiest of names. He's not the best looking. There's a meme about him with the water and all that stuff. He's not sort of this slick Simeone, Guardiola looking guy. And people are shallow. People are shallow.
So there are. I mean, I'm not sure Arsenal fans are really on board with Arteta really anymore.
Need a window. Piranhas are out.
They are.
No, if they don't score this week, the Piranhas are out for us.
Who are they playing this week?
Wolves. Good defence. Defence is on top of that one.
Who does Wolves have a good defence? I don't know.
Wolves got a good defence. I think I heard a stat that I think in 34 of the last 37 games that Wolves have played in, they've not scored in the first half.
So the thing with Arteta is, and I've been saying this for weeks as a Spurs fan who really wants to see cracks in anything that Arsenal do, and I have been saying that they're really boring to watch. It's boring. That there is almost no dynamism. There's nothing dynamism. There's nothing dynamic about their attacking play at all, and it plays out during the game. And the fact is, they haven't scored a goal in 500 minutes. What was it? 5 minutes? 500 minutes?
Another stat for you. I think you could have watched all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the director's extended cuts. Within the last time Arsenal scored a Premier League goal. Stealing stats.
That is great. But if you what do they do, Arsenal fans? Do they hold on? Do they just think like, oh, we were wrong about Emery? Let me ask you a question. Any Arsenal fans out there, are you ready to own up and say, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? None of you. And I will own up as a Spurs fan as I don't know what the fuck all I'm going to do is watch my team. Hopefully they play well. Hopefully Jose Mourinho delivers us the title or a cup or whatever. And I hope that that's the case. But what I say about my team means absolutely zero. I just want Arsenal fans out there.
What the fuck? We've still got like 40 minutes of football chat I've got to do here. And you're going to have an opinion on some of it. I think we all understand we might be wrong. You might be right.
No, it means nothing. It means nothing because none of us, including you, James, could ever truly understand what it means to manage a football club. Fair
point. Well, I mean, you did it in the Family Cup. Right. Sean Clancy.
We got to the final, didn't we? We got to the final. Yeah. We were cheated.
Yeah, we were cheated. How did you not win that? Sean Clancy, just checking in, lads. Hope yous are well. Bit of a brave take here. But if Jose wins the league with Spurs, this is hot off the back of this double Arsenal. They're in a tough place, aren't they? And people, people will throw shots at them. But this is a calm take, and I think it's an interesting question. If Jose wins the league with Spurs, brackets big if, does he go ahead of Arsene Wenger in the list of the best Premier League managers, winning 4 titles over a 15-year period with different clubs versus what Wenger did, which is winning 3 league titles in 7 years, followed by 14 years of top 4 and FA Cups. It's tough to ignore what Jose's done elsewhere, but winning it with Spurs makes it a conversation between him and Arsene on Prem alone. Do you put him above it?
Arsene? I don't care. I really don't care. I don't give a shit about that at all, because what he did, the only reason I care about Jose Mourinho is because he's a Spurs manager.
Really good. So unlucky, Sean. Unlucky, Sean. I thought that was good. I thought
it's a good question. It's just what you're asking me as a Spurs fan. I don't care what Jose Mourinho did for Chelsea. I'm not going to give him credit for that what he did there. I only care what he does for Spurs. So, like, if he's a better manager than he's a Spurs manager now. He may win 2 or 3 league titles in the next 4 years. Yeah.
I think he does. I think he does if he does it with Spurs.
He could. Please, come on. Anyway, but he's look, it's the big. There was a massive rivalry between Mourinho and Arsene Wenger. If he wins a league title with Spurs, given the fact that he went to Chelsea and won back-to-back league titles after them not winning the league for 50 years. Bearing in mind when Arsene Wenger took over at Arsenal,
1997.
1997?
Yeah, that's when he took
over. So they've won the league in the last 10 years. So, in 1997, Jesus, was that long ago? Arsenal had won the league under George Graham in 1988, 89.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the achievements of Jose Mourinho would eclipse, in terms of pots won, Yeah, they'd eclipse what Arsene Wenger had done at Arsenal. But what you got to remember with Arsene Wenger, he took a very boring workman-like football club and brought them into the new era.
Yeah.
And then their fans shit on him for it.
Yeah, a little bit. Although, I mean, everyone did. Everyone did. Everyone was like, "That's enough now. That's enough now." Wenger got to move.
Jim,
you did actually. You were consistent.
I said I can't wait for the day he leaves the football club, because I realise that they will then become into what they have become. Because football, like us, like DT Troops, Arsenal fan TV, all them, they've grown up on what Arsenal. They've grown up suckling Arsene Wenger's teat, right? And then they've grown too old for the teat, and they want other tits, like we all do as men. And then they realise, shit, perhaps Arsene Wenger's teat's better, or perhaps they haven't realised it at all, and they're just floundering around the fields and an urban landscape of London and just looking for tits, any tit, and it's not as good as Arsene Wenger's tit.
You know that Twitter account where it's like football players with boobs? Arsene Wenger's boobs are like those boobs in Something About Mary. You know, the older,
like
is it the older
ears.
one?
Like dog's ears.
Yeah, Spaniel's ears, definitely. Very
Spaniel's
wrinkly. Right, wow. Which was a bit that we started last week. Mad takes.
Jim, sorry to do this. Can you read through these while I have a cigarette? Is that right? Good.
No.
Come on, let me do it.
Sit down.
No, you read these through and I'll come back to you.
Are you fucking serious? That's a kick in the teeth.
Outside in where I live in the West Country, it's a beautiful place, but the mist has descended throughout the whole day, and it looks like I live in a some sort of medieval war zone.
You know, before this podcast, where you went, "Oh, I've got to go by this point." Remember that? You know
20 minutes from now.
Yeah, right. So no mad takes this week, and they were really funny. We'll save them for next week. You're all missing out on that because Flav decided to go up because of his disgusting habit of smoking cigarettes.
I thought you were going to carry on.
I'm just going to read them out. I need someone to bounce off.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
You're a professional, Jim.
No, it's a two-person thing.
All right,
dragging me down. Derby games. It's time for some derby games. Move forward. Derby games were really, really good this week. Really, really, really good this week. Let me show you the games that we've got this week. First of all, Flav, it's the big one. You need to decide which score will you never know from the games this weekend. We've got Crystal Palace versus Newcastle, Brighton versus Liverpool, Man City, Burnley, Everton, Leeds, West Brom, Sheffield United, Southampton, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Fulham, and West Ham, Aston Villa. Where are Burnley? Oh, they're there, Man City.
West Brom, Sheffield United.
Yeah, whoever's down the bottom.
What's going on with Chris Wilder? Is he been sussed out? Second season syndrome.
I think they've got a real problem because of two reasons. One, they can't score goals, and secondly, probably more importantly, actually, is they only have players for one system, the system that worked last year, so they can't really change it, like in a big way. So they're quite easy to suss out. So they'll have to just get a hell of a lot better at the system that they're playing right now.
Do you reckon, Jim? Do you reckon Chris Wilder gets home to his wife and there's doilies everywhere?
Of course.
There's floral patterned sofas, and he sits down in a proper rump in his Sheffield United tracksuit, and his wife goes, "Oh, just say what's wrong in a Yorkshire accent."
What's wrong, love?
And he goes, "I just can't get it bloody right."
You Bristol. What's wrong, Duck?
I can't get it right. Can I?
I can't get it right.
Just give me my hot pot and fuck off.
This hot pot's not even hot. Where's he gone now? He just literally gets up and walks out. It's just mad. You can't just stop walking off. This is mental.
I left the back door open.
Right, okay.
It's freezing cold air coming.
Obviously, remember, you've got a big game like this. So West Brom versus Sheffield United. Not only is it bottom versus second bottom, it's also, according to Jack Pallett, we still not forgot about the Battle of Bramall Lane derby. Now, for anyone who doesn't remember the Battle of Bramall Lane,
I don't know what that is.
so the Battle of Bramall Lane was a game Sheffield United versus West Brom on 16th of March 2002, right?
Wow.
And it's a game where, what was his name? The manager, it was Neil Warnock, and who's the other manager? What's his name? He was a Premier League manager for West Brom. It was ginger hair. This is killing
Graham
me.
Strachan?
Gary Megson. Gary Megson.
Oh, God. Have you ever seen a man who makes you feel more sick than him?
I used to work with his son at Sheffield Wednesday. It was really weird. And his son was really like, we're modern men. He was like, he's a good-looking guy. And I remember really wanting to say to him, "How are you so good-looking?" Like, Gary Megson, your dad's butters. I didn't. Anyway, the Battle of Bramall Lane is the informal. He's got his own Wikipedia page if you want to find out more about this. Informal game. It's on YouTube as well. Search it. Game given to First Division match between Sheffield United and West Brom. Where is it? This is amazing. Sheffield United, known as the Blades, committed multiple fouls and got 3 of their players sent off by the 65th minute, 2 of whom were substitutes, leaving Sheffield United with only 8 players on the pitch. 17 minutes later, 2 of their other players would get injured and were taken off, leaving United with only 6 players. So the referee abandoned the game in the 82nd minute. Because Sheffield United didn't have enough players to play the rest of the game. But the sendings off in this game, the tackles in this game are an absolute disgrace. And the backstory of it is that I don't know if it's because of this game or kind of leading into this game. I think it's actually because of the game. Neil Warnock and Gary Megson to this day hate each other. Absolutely hate each other. But yeah, if you've got a second, go on YouTube, search that game. George Santos, who went and played for QPR, does one of the most disgusting tackles I've ever seen in my entire life. Big derby game. Here's one for the OGs. This is class, right? Danny Galloway, thanks for this. Not on the list of Premier League matches, but tonight, so Thursday, is Rangers versus Benfica, which is the reverse white teeth game derby. Long-time listeners will know. Because Porto, Celtic, and the white teeth.
Tell you what, just go and listen to. All you have to do is type into YouTube White Teeth. Is it Diaries?
Chronicles, maybe.
Chronicles, White Teeth Chronicles, and you'll understand completely what that means. Not only will you understand what that means, you'll then be treated to 30 minutes of the best storytelling you'll ever hear. This is the greatest story about football that isn't about football that you've ever heard. Yeah, just go right now, go to YouTube, type White Teeth Chronicles. This is back in the day when me and Jim were at Ball Street and we were doing one for the weekend and we were given free license to talk about whatever the fuck we wanted to talk about. And it was gold.
It was. Right. Ollie Sage, Southampton versus United. Quite a few high quality. Southampton versus United, the Pochettino Christmas Carol derby, a visit to Pochettino's past and future. That was really, really good.
I think that's going to be the case. I definitely think Pochettino's going to end up at PSG.
Do you think?
Just there for a minute. Tuchel, it's just on the ropes. Just there for him.
If you're a Southampton fan, do you look at Hasenhüttl and it all going well and you go, yeah, but what's the point? We'll get near Europe and he'll get pinched and the best players will get pinched. Back to square one. It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough. It's really hard. It's really, really difficult. I mean, I guess if you're a Southampton fan, you can look at what Leicester have done. Because they're comparable in size, I think. Leicester and Southampton are comparable in size. They could build something, have a great season in the Premier League.
Leicester have got a lot more money. A lot more money, haven't they?
But since the Premier League. So I don't know before then.
I think, I'm just thinking about their owners. Maybe I don't know enough about Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. But they definitely know what they're doing. They've managed that. Southampton have been managed incredibly well. I mean, they had that season where they nearly went down when they brought Mark Hughes back, but they've been managed incredibly well. They had Pochettino, Hasenhüttl. They rebounded from Mark Hughes, where it felt like they are just shit. We don't know what to do, but they've had a
Made some
brilliant
smart moves.
yeah
Smashing it.
acquisition. Yeah. So fair enough.
Yeah. Matty Hennigan, West Ham versus Aston Villa. We are the real claret and blue derby. Ashley also says it's the David Cameron derby. How do you not know who you support, you fucking moron? What is this guy? He doesn't get enough stick for that. Who do you support? West Ham? Yeah, big West Ham fan. Claret and blue. Love them.
Politician, he just needs to attach himself. Certainly not to those two clubs. If you're a politician, you've got to attach yourself to a big club, proper.
It's just, but it blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Ben Spanton Walker, Everton versus Leeds, is we have better managers than half of the top 6 derby. Maybe. Who are your top? Who are your top? So it's Klopp, Guardiola, Mourinho. Yeah, there's 2 spaces, isn't there, at least?
There is.
Yeah.
Ancelotti, you've got to say on
Ancelotti's in there for sure. And then Bielsa, maybe.
No.
He was nominated for Manager of the Year in the FIFA Best Awards.
Yeah, I know. That's madness, isn't it? Surely
Gareth Ainsworth.
He won a championship, and then
with a club too big for the championships, basically.
Well, no, I guess he
Leeds fans hate that.
He manifested the potential greatness in Leeds. And maybe if he stays in the Premier League, and I'm sure he will, they're definitely too good to go down. They play against Arsenal, even when they went down to 10 men, they were the better team, right? If he gets a season in the Premier League with the money, COVID permitting, then maybe he could push Leeds back into somewhere where they used to belong. Maybe not.
They had 25 shots against Arsenal and didn't score a goal. First team to do that. 25 shots. They got promoted.
They hit the bar 3 times. They had like 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances. With a better striker, they would have done better. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Bamford, but he is not a top 10 striker. He's a lower league Premier League striker. So
he's Prem. I think he's Prem. I think it's also hectic. It's hard to have that composure, I think.
No, I agree he was Prem. He's just not a top. He's not. He would never get in the top 6. He'd never get in the top 8. No, there's no one in the top 8 would sign Patrick Bamford. So what I'm saying is they need quality. They had quality to Bielsa's mad work ethic. Then who knows what Leeds can do? Okay,
then that's Leakley Weeds. Jack Powler. Oh, we did that one. Charlie Peach. Palace versus Newcastle. Oh, this is wonderful. And this is where is it? Smith. So Smith did this last week. You remember I was like, oh, Smith did one, but it was actually for this week. Crystal Palace versus Newcastle is the ideal homes for Disney Princesses Derby. That is with Crystal Palace and a Newcastle. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's the subtlety and nuance of a derby.
Yeah,
that is
what we are after. Charlie Peach also suggests that it has to be the Alan Pardew derby. The fact it's on Friday night is a nice touch. That in itself is not a good derby for me because you're just putting a player in there or a manager in there. But the reason I popped that in there because I thought Alan Pardew's just become, is it technical director at, where's he
Sofia.
Yeah.
Sofia.
Somewhere in Russia. And he was, do you know what I did think with that? I was like...
Bulgaria.
Was it Bulgaria? Sorry, that's terrible. Imagine if he really did carve out a new career there and spent 15 years in Bulgaria. Like, it's just not going to happen.
He's sitting there in Bulgaria in Sofia and just gone, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah.
How am I going to attract people to this club in Bulgaria?
He'll be, there is no, I would put every penny I have on the fact that he will not be there more than 2 seasons. There's just no way.
If he's there 8 months, I'd be amazed.
Yeah. It's like, when Brian Robson becomes manager of Thailand. You go, oh, yeah, you're there for the long run, are you?
He gets a message from his agent going, Bulgaria? And he's like...
Yeah, if it's Pardew there, he goes, so agent goes, Sophia? He goes, oh yeah, blonde hair, big tit. No. I mean, there's a club in...
I'll still go,
Bulgaria.
I'm sure there's some there.
Sure there'll be someone there. Jamie, Chelsea versus Spurs is the, you've got to take them seriously, but no one really expects them to win it. Derby. Thoughts?
Gooner, is it? Gooner?
I don't know.
I think there's 3 teams in it, really. and two of them are playing on Sunday, and there's Liverpool.
Interesting. Can you? I mean, you can win it. Can you win it?
Well, look. Previously, I would say we can win it. Of course, we can win it. But now we're saying we can win it. Honestly, we can win it.
I'm telling you now.
Mourinho.
What happens? So next week, if you beat Chelsea, then what are you saying? 2-0, 2-0 win. What are you saying next week?
If we...
You're going to win it. How does it sound? Because you've said the same sentence twice there. So, we could win it. And then this week is like, we could win it. So what is it next week?
Like, seriously, stop fucking about. We can win it. That would be the energy.
Sure.
That would be the energy.
It's just like, you got semi.
I mean, what more could you want? Like we lost the first game of the season. We've beaten Man United away. We've beaten Man City at home and Chelsea away. If we've won those 3 games, bearing in mind we have to play Arsenal at home, which by all rights, based on what's happened so far this season, we'll win as well.
Yeah, well, at least a draw because they can't score.
Yeah, so look, it's we can win it. It's just this Chelsea game feels big.
This is good. I like this. We'll come back next week. We'll ask you again.
All right.
City versus Burnley. Like this, Jay. Good work. City versus Burnley is the ideal training session for both teams. Derby. That's really good.
That's a belter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're really good this week, guys. Marcus Jones, Brighton versus Liverpool. There's a couple of derbies for this one. Brighton versus Liverpool is the multiple choice options in a pub quiz for where the Titanic was built derby. And Dan Beatty, and I think there was someone else as well, but Dan got there first. Niche one, but Brighton versus Liverpool is the Labour Party annual conference derby. Very good. And that's all your derby games for this week. Coventry Badge. How much time have we got? Do you know what? I don't want to miss out on...
We can revisit some of this stuff.
We could come back to this. Let's do birds and that. Let's just tuck into a juicy birds and that.
Okay.
We take our time with this because I feel like this is part of the big story at the moment with the pod. Right, straight to birds and that. Next week we'll have the likes of home wins, which is 2 weeks. We've been waiting to read that out. Liverpool Cracks, which was... this Liverpool Crack, I'll just read it quickly just because... I just want to get your reaction to it. Scott from England, his name is, feeling the need to speak up /out regarding a few of Liverpool's injuries. It's not unlucky to have a goalkeeper what's the word? Hang on. It's not unlucky to have a goalkeeper Bruce Lee flying kick your central defender. It's also not unlucky to have a midfielder poleaxed by Richarlison. Both VVD and Thiago were attacked. Thoughts? That feels like a Liverpool Crack in itself, that comment.
Oh, stop being such a wet. Just, they weren't attacked. Something happened on a pitch that happens all over the pitch, all over the world, right? On many pitches, on Hackney Marshes, on a Sunday league, these challenges happen. Your players weren't attacked. They weren't victimised. They were victims of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
Have you ever in your life, whoever sent that comment in, have you ever in your life...
Make sure you check in.
...described... Huh?
Don't worry, go on.
But ever in your life described the challenge on David Bust or Alfinger Haaland as attacked? You haven't. The reason why you're describing the challenge on Virgil van Dijk as attacked is because you're a Liverpool fan. And that's it. So if your only reason you're concentrating on Virgil van Dijk's injury is because you're a Liverpool fan, means your opinion is not worth listening to. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but I think he's a bit of rattling going on there, Scott. Just be careful with your language, is what I'm trying to get at. Speaking up /out. Speaking out. I need to speak out, and then saying they were attacked feels like a Liverpool Crack to me. And of course, they lost at home. Liverpool Crack.
Sounds like you're cracking, mate. You're cracking. Maybe the club's cracking. You're losing at home in the Champions League against, was it Atalanta? Never even heard of them. Atalanta? Never heard of them. They're beating you at 2-0 at Anfield. There's fucking Jurgen Klopp going mental about a fixture pile up and they're playing this is playing. We played 2 games every 48 hours for the entire season. Jose Mourinho's had a little bit about it, but not like just like fucking look. You want to win trophies, you want to be a big club, deal with it. Don't fucking whinge and moan about injuries and fixture pile up. Either you're a big club or you're not a big club. And Liverpool are a big club, so you as a supporter needs to be a big supporter with it. Otherwise,
right, birds and that. Charlie Peach, new name for the birds and that. Boys. Sorry, new name for birds and that. Could it be this, Flav? What do you think? God's sake, it's so stupid. It's great. I love it. Boys and or girls.
Boys and or girls. It just doesn't have the ring to it, does it?
So for boys, it's just so PC. Boys and or girls. I quite like it.
Boys or boys and girls or girls and girls?
Boys and or girls.
Well, girls and or boys.
So boys. You can have if you're into boys or girls or boys and girls. Boys and or girls. So the situation is Sonny, who has been going. He really likes this girl at uni. You kind of need to go back to the last two podcasts. Go to the end of the last two podcasts, and you'll see the situation. But basically, there'd been a party. He played it too cool, but twice she asked him to go back and chill with her and some of their heads. And then it basically didn't work out. And then the week after, he set up a video night. She came round, but she revealed that she'd been texting a guy from the week before and the house party. And now he was thinking, damn, is it over? And there was quite a response last week. Quite a response. So Dankenstein said, Sonny should have gone ahead with the plan. So this was the plan with that, having three people there, his mate, and then his mate has to leave. They continue to watch films. Happy days. It makes his move. So he says, Sonny should have gone ahead with the plan. She brought the tree up. And so by tree, sorry, there's so much inside jokes here. The tree is the big 6'4" guy who seems to have the attention of the, I don't want to say target, but the girl that he fancies. She brought up the tree to get a reaction, and Sonny bottled it. Worst thing that happens is the plan fails, and when you get the same outcome as not going ahead with the plan. Download Tinder, Sonny, get a few dates, then she'll see sense. So that was Dankenstein's idea on it. I Want Goals said, in response to Birds and That, don't give up, Sonny. It might just be a shit test. And Tyler Norton had a different idea. He said, don't wait and play second fiddle to the tree man. Go on and live your life. And if she wants you, she'll have to come back and ask you now. High levels of self-esteem there. On final one. Oh yeah, Elliot consulted his girlfriend. Elliot said, just checking in again. Consult with my girlfriend for Sonny to get a different perspective. Because in my heart, I want to tell Sonny to keep going, but that might not be the best advice. Here's what she says. The Instagram is a bit of a test just to see how he handles it. Flav is right. It isn't over yet. Well, I said it wasn't over yet as well. That's a shame. Anyway.
I resonate with women.
Maybe. If this... yeah, exactly. I'm like a fog to women. Just pass by. If this girl ends up going for a lad whose bio includes gym is my second home, she's only doing herself a disservice. Embarrassing to have that in the bio, so no doubt that this girl will get bored of Marcus and his twatty gym antics. See where it's going with her and Marcus, because from the limited impression we have of him, it'll probably fuck up. Then Sonny, provided he hasn't been too clingy and keeps being that person she enjoys being around, will have his chance. So several different views, but the important one is the view of Sonny, and it's important that we've got an update, and here it is. Once again, this feels like almost maybe the setup for next week, where it really does come to the fore. Right. Sonny says this. All right, boys, want to keep this as real as possible, and I could make up something wild, but that's just not me. Well done. We don't want that. It needs to be real. Our hearts have been broken too many times.
Villa fan.
He's a Villa fan, yep. It's been a quiet week this week. Been stewing over things and what my next move might be. I love the idea of just him in his halls, just like tactics board, like thinking about what am I doing, writing stuff down with ideas and things like that.
Doing this on tactics board.
Yeah. And then wiping it all out and then starting again. Yeah. Hang on. What my next move will be and whether it really is dead. She's still chatting to me the same amount. and we're still having a laugh when we see each other. While I go back to my flat and play some FIFA, she goes to that tree with arms and plays with him. Love my.
Is she doing that? Is that genuinely what's happening, or just is that what's happening in your
Well,
head?
they've been seeing each other for a couple of weeks. She said last time, or they've been texting. Who knows? We don't know. That's a good point. It's a good point.
I hate that guy.
Yeah. So you're dicking this guy or what? Don't say that. Love my football comparisons, as you know. So imagine she's Manchester United. I'm Dean Henderson. I'm the second choice, playing in the Carabao Cup against Luton. Nothing too fancy, but I'm there if she needs. The tree with arms is David De Gea. The first choice, getting the big games, the big nights under the lights, to go-to man for a big performance. However, love that word. Love that word. However. And Flav might not be too happy about this in today's COVID climate, but it is her flatmate's birthday, who I've met a few times, on Friday. And she's invited me round to a little get-together they're having. It's invite only to stop too many heads coming round, so security don't break it up. Surely this is a good sign. This is the chance, boys. David De Gea won't be there. He's out injured, uninvited. This is my time to shine. The second chance, the scene of the crime where I fucked it up last time. How do I play it, boys? What's my move?
What, David De Gea isn't in the squad?
He's not
if
invited.
He isn't in the squad.
Not available.
He's not invited. You're invited. He isn't invited.
Come on.
That gives you. Come on. This is your chance. Not like this is your chance. You've got to make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
It's just play it cool.
Yeah.
Just talk to her. Just say, look, I really like you. I really.
No. Are you doing that? You don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, I'm nearly 40 years old. What do you do? I say, look, I like you. I fancy you. I'm fit. You're fit. Let's go out and fucking. That's what I do.
I think you stay. What's the word? Not stealth, but like smooth. Try and stay smooth. This is a 90-minute match. You know, you don't need to go. Oh, can I come talk to you? As you walk through the door and take her to one side, because that's going to make the rest of the evening awkward. I think you got to feel it out. This is like Wolves. You don't need to score in the first half. You just need to win the game. You've got to keep this long term. Because we don't know how serious it is with that guy. We don't know if it was a test. You've been invited to this. You've got to see what her body language is like, how she's acting with you on that evening.
Yeah, you're
Do you know
right.
what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, you are. You're right. Just look for what the micro mannerisms. Look for her. Like when she touches you, how does she touch you? Does she slightly stroke your arm? Does she hold your hand a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Then
you just hold hands with friends, do you? How are you holding her hand? When's that happening?
So if you're next to her and you put your hand and she places your hand on your hand on the side of the kitchen cabinet in the hall,
okay,
and she happens to let it linger or just let her finger a little bit longer on it, then you know you're in.
Yeah. Indicators of interest. That's what you need.
And the madness, the indicators of interest, but the madness about this is that you could be in, but you're also everyone else is in.
What makes you fancy someone else? Well, do you know what? I think first things first. In the first half of that evening, you got to go in there confident, go in there smiling, be in a really good mood, get it moving. You got to dial up that flirting just a little bit, not too much. Keep that self-respect, but you've got to dial it up a little bit just to see if you get anything back. And if you do get something back, then see where it goes. See where it goes.
If this isn't all sort of like black and white by the end of lockdown, then you need to go out and pull. That's a standard, I think. Yeah.
And going back to the first house party, I don't think you had the wrong idea there. Go in there, be sort of the life and soul, but just be, really happy, smiling, and don't focus on her initially for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. That tops 5 minutes. But
then when you walk towards, just spit on her foot and then walk away.
Perfect. But then you need to work it that way. You've got to. Right. This is the chance, mate. This is the one, Sonny. Come on, boy.
Sonny, also,
Sonny.
I reckon he could knock out the tree, like David and Goliath. This is what this feels like. Yeah. David and Goliath. Can you knock out the tree?
And can you? Can you make him? Do you know what you should do? Spark
him. Knock him.
You got to knock him down right. This is what you do, okay? You go at some point when it feels right, not right at the start, but when it feels right, you go, oh, you still chat to that guy then? What's he look like again? Get her to show. Let me see his Instagram. And then when you see his Instagram, don't mention that he's got big muscles, any of that stuff. Go, have you seen his bio? And she'll go, she'll either not have seen it or she'll have to read it out to you. And you go, okay. And then after that, you don't react. You go, oh, okay.
Wow.
That's.
Oh, wow.
So, does he work out?
Just go, wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you got to tread that line carefully. You got to go, have you seen his bio? Have you seen his Instagram bio?
Do you want a drink? All right.
Yeah. And then, mate, that's it.
Let's just go, wow. All right, do you want a drink? Or should we...
yeah, that's class. Mate, that's it. Let's throw some shade. Let's Mourinho this one. Do you know what I mean?
Indeed.
Play the long game, son.
All right.
Good luck.
Sonny, Godspeed, my friend.
Yeah, man. Buzzing for next week.
Ultimately, Sonny, be kind. Just always be a good person. You know, you are a nice person. Or anyone, we muck about with these sort of birds and that stuff, but ultimately be kind to the other sex and be kind to the same sex. Whatever you're into, just be a nice person. Because if you do that, ultimately, fundamentally, for 80% of you, it will come up trumps. Absolutely. I agree. Just say that tactic is based on an evening where a friend of mine, we were going out with a friend of ours who's a girl, and she was bringing a mate. And one of our mates texted us and went, dibs. And we went, sorry, what? He went, dibs on the new mate. Dibs on the girl, yeah. And sorry, you say dibs? And so when we saw him, that is not acceptable, exactly. So for the good of it all, we were like, mate, you're not getting her, no chance. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna fiend on her, yeah, like a pack of wolves, just so you can't have it. You're like the old bloke out there, the old wolf who used to clean up. Now the young wolves are going to manipulate. Does she win out of this, Jim? What's the answer? So the end of the story. The reason I came to this conclusion with the bio thing was, so what we did was we were like, can't believe you said dibs. And anyway, we got to a pub. We're all drinking, right? He's with her, trying to kind of chat her up, and I'm talking to my friend Matt, and we hadn't really spoken to her too much at that point. And she was quite good looking, but she started kind of opening up the conversation, talking to different people, kind of getting to know people's names. And I'm talking to my friend here, and she goes, "Are you two brothers?" And I went, "No, we're not brothers." She went, "Oh, you look like brothers." And I went, "That is so weird." And she went, "What?" She went, "I was just thinking the exact same thing of you and Billy. You look like brother and sister." And he looked at me, and he looked at me and went. And it was over. It was so over for him. It was so funny. And she was taken care of, and everything was happy, right? Yeah, and we had a lovely evening. Yeah, good. The end. So yeah, good luck. Sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. Wonderful. Jim, that's been fantastic. I think it's one of the best Jaffin podcasts we've done. Do you think so? Interesting. Yeah. I'm excited to hear what Sonny's got to say next week. Right, guys. Sorry about the live show. We tried our best, but it's the internet. It's got nothing to do with us, to be honest. If you want to join us on Patreon, I'll be back with proper internet very, very soon. Until then, get involved in the comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next time. Wonderful. Sweet. You go, bud.